As soon as somebody hops on, please tell me if you can hear me or if you can see me, because I'm forever plagued by technical difficulties. This is like my fourth try to get live. Somebody please say hi. Ah, I see highs. That means we're good this time. Hallelujah. Oh my goodness. Woo. How is everybody today? Can y'all hear me okay? Somebody please say yes. Y'all can hear me, please. Perfect. All right. Hi. Hi, Sherry, Rhea, Linda, Sherry. Hello, ladies. All right. Today we are going to do a red rose and Cheetah. Welcome. Grapevine. Okay. Let me get you up on my phone so I can actually see comments. Because once the first 3 or 4 go by, then on my laptop I can't see anymore. Rhea, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Kind of lazed around yesterday for the, new year, and today it's back to work. All right, we're going to start off by getting our mounts on so they have time to set a little bit. I've already taken the liberty of giving it a haircut. I've gotten most of the leaves out, or at least the ones I'm going to get out. Trimmed all the flyaways. And I think this is how I want it to lay. We're going to cover this side. This side looks nice to be exposed a little bit. So that's the side I'm going to leave a little bare. So taking that into consideration, when we hold our sign up here, we need to figure out where the back of it meets the grapevine, because that's where we're going to place our mounts. So we can either set it straight on. We can caulk it a little bit. I don't know. Do you guys have a preference? Whether it's like a little off-centered or if you like it to read straight on. Now tell me which one you prefer, then that's the way we'll go. Anybody got a preference? Okay. If not, I'll do it my way. Oh, somebody did say straight. Okay. So that would be straight. I got to face it to me just a little bit. Sorry. Now I'm going to not put it real high, because if you think about the design and how your flowers are going to lay, you don't want to, cover it too much. I'm going to place it. I'm going to place it right about there. So I need a mount here that's going to hook onto that, and a mount here. That'll probably be good enough just in those 2 corners, I think. Do it my way. Well, either way works just fine. And in that case, it would totally be personal preference. Neither way is right nor wrong. Oh no, I might have to go get my husband to open this again. Dang it. Every week. Hang on, let me go get him real quick. All right, y'all. That didn't take too long. Okay, so I just take a little stick and I go around the perimeter and I kind of push the E6000 up under that ledge and make sure it laps over the top. Doesn't have to be pretty because you can cover it with a leaf or moss. You just want it to stick. You want to, put enough that you're not going to have issues. And I know there's lots of different ways to do this. Lots of people will tell you different ways what works for them. I've got wreaths in South Texas, South Arizona, and nobody's ever lost a sign doing it this way. So when you find something that works, just go with it. Hi, Linda. How are you? How was everybody's New Year? Did y'all stay home? Did y'all go out? Pretty sure everybody stayed home, but I know I knew a couple of people who actually went out. We stayed home with the kids and watched kid movie, a family movie, and had popcorn and soda and sparkling cider at midnight. I typically do my siding first because it needs time to set. I'm going to leave that open for the time being. You stayed home, Linda? All right, so I have our mounts on. We're going to set it to the side. Now, I have a basket full of goodies. I've got several different greens. I've got the red roses that we're going to use. And we've got some white filler flower. Everything's kind of all mixed up together here. Sorry about that. Just trying to dig out the pieces that we'll use first. Woo, come on. I didn't put these in there very well. So sorry about that. Okay. Now, I always like to start with ficus. And each spray of ficus comes with 3 veins or 3 stems. You can get these pretty much anywhere. Hobby Lobby, Michael's. Let's use that to see if the glue is right consistency. Yep, we're looking good. If your glue gun drips, leaves a big pile, just toss that pile in your glue skillet. Don't waste that glue. All right, so I have cut this first piece of ficus into 3 pieces. You can kind of see how it naturally lays. But if you don't like how it's laying, just take and bend it. It's really sturdy wire. Just like that. Now most, well, I'm not going to say most because that'd be a lie. All of my designs, if they're not top bottom, they're all on the left side. So taking that into consideration, your bow goes here at about, 10, 11, mostly about 11. So when you've established where your bow is going to go, take your first piece, come to the right of it, lay it flat, and you're going to insert it that way. Don't poke through, lay it flat and kind of insert it and weave it in. So same here, just come to the side of it, put that piece in. Okay. I'm going to take and push those to the back of that little branch because it was pushing it forward too much. There we go, perfect. Now we're going to take the other small piece off of that. We're going to come to the other side of where our bow would be. Bow, come to the other side, lay it flat, and push it in. I have a fan blowing across me, so that's why you see me get so many glue strings. It's not typical of my glue, it's just when I've got the fan on, it blows lots of them everywhere. Okay, so then the third piece, we're going to come under this piece and insert it that way, okay? Depending on how far around you're going to carry your design, this one's going to be a really full one, so we're going to, carry the florals on down through this region. That kind of determines how you want to place this piece. So if you're going to stop here and just do this part, then this piece can pretty much go horizontal. Insert it horizontally. If you're, vertically, vertically, push it up and down, okay? If you're going to carry it around, you want to angle it to the outside because that's going to help bring the shape and give the wreath some width, some mass. So since we're carrying it around, we're going to cock it to the side and insert it that way. And when I'm inserting, I always insert under these, the big binding wrappers where they wrap. I try to insert under those. So angled out, up under, there we go. Then you can bend it a little bit to whatever shape, you're going for. Now we're going to take that second ficus. And it looks like we might use 2 of the 3 pieces. I don't always use all 6 pieces that you end up cutting off of these. And some of the ones I'm using came from Hobby Lobby. Some of them came from Michael's, but that's okay. All right. So this is another long piece. I think we're going to put it down there. As you can see, when you cut them, there is one big piece and then there's 2 smaller pieces. So that's how I'm referring to bigger or smaller. These are longer. They have more leaves on them. So we're coming around. We'll do this kind of at an angle as well, like that, okay? Under this binding wrapper, flat at this angle, just weave it in. Then you can bend, like I said, the wires to get the look that you want. Now you can go in with these other small pieces and probably put one right in there coming out this way. And then that gives you the starting shape of your wreath. So we'll go in this way. And as you see, I put them like on the top. I didn't insert them on the face, except for down here. I kind of came up on the face just a little bit because that's, you know, where I wanted it to lay. But when I'm putting these in, I'm putting them in on the outside, like this section right here. Okay. Hi, Candace. How are you? Now, I will probably save this one because those of you who've been with me for a few weeks now know that my bow goes here and I like to have a backer for my bow. So I take another piece. It could be this, it could be some other piece that I'm going to use, but it'll go back here to finish creating the height of the wreath, and give it a solid backing for the bow. It kind of pushes the loops of the bow forward. So you've created the size of the wreath. We started with an 18-inch grapevine, but this piece and this piece really define your length. I want to add this now. No, I think we'll add this later. But I'm not going to put that in yet, okay? It makes the bow harder to get in when you glue that piece in, then you've got all these, you know, inside branches glued together, and it's hard to get your pipe cleaners or wire or whatever you're using to attach the bow. It's hard to get it through. So we'll save that for last, or for after the bow. Excuse me. My mouth is really dry today. All right. Now, these roses I like to get when Hobby Lobby has their sales because they're $25.99, so $26 regularly. But when they go, you know, on their half off sale that week, you get, excuse me, I apologize. You get a lot of nice pieces and some really good quality roses. So again, this is the floral department from Hobby Lobby. Get them when they go on sale because they're ridiculously expensive otherwise. But as you see, they've got the roses. They've got really nice greens on them, some realistic stems, kind of imitated, what are they, thorns. So this is a really nice bush. So I kind of separate and see how many I've got to work with. Like these two are attached to one piece, okay? So I can choose to use them together, or I can separate them and get more bang for my buck, okay? And that's really going to depend on what price point you're going for. Most of my floral wreaths are $200 and above. So that's mainly because I use the good ingredients and I charge accordingly. So in this case, we're doing a really big one, and I don't mind charging the price that I need to charge for it to use all of these. So we're going to put all of these in there, I think. But if you were trying to cut costs, just take these that are attached to, cut them down. So you'd have 3 here, you'd have 3 here. So that could possibly get you 2 wreaths and then maybe a flower arrangement or something. You could get creative, but you could get quite a bit out of this if you were trying to pinch pennies. So let's just slit this and take apart, because all they do is just take a bunch of pieces and tape them together. We're just going to untape them and take them apart. And for achy hands, taking them apart is way easier than always trying to cut through these thicker ones. As you start taking it apart, stuff's going to start falling out. Don't freak out. Just let it come out. That's what we want. I think they glued some of that tape down because it doesn't want to come off. And we all know floral tape, when it dries out, it comes off fairly easy. Yeah, I see glue there. They glued it down. Oh, darn it. Well, I'll cut that part anyway. Okay. So once you have it taken apart, separate all your green pieces from the actual roses. And the reason I say that, because these came with the bouquet. So you want to try to incorporate these to kind of bring it all together. If you omit these, I mean, it's really not going to hurt anything. You won't know any different. But these just add to it, kind of bring the piece together. So use what it comes with. We're going to set those right here for the time being. What else? Okay, so we have 1, 2, another piece of green, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 3 singles and 2 doubles. Now we have to think about placement. You know what? I do this every dang time I try to teach you guys. I get ahead of the step. We got to do our bow. I don't know what I'm thinking. All right. After you lay down your ficus, the next step is going to be your bow. And I do it differently when I'm in here by myself, but to teach it, I think it flows better and easier for you guys if you do your bow next. So what I have chosen is 4-inch. This is the Yummy Good Stuff. This is D. Stevens ribbon. Love this stuff. It's pricey, but so worth it. This is also D. Stevens ribbon. It's a 1-inch. And it is also the cheetah print. It is just gold. It's got a really nice gold back. And then I didn't know if I wanted 4-inch or 2.5-inch red velvet. But I think we're going to go with the 4-inch. I think we're going to do 2 loops of each color and then top it with this. And the reason I say only 2 loops and top it with this, because all of this ribbon was pricey. Like this was $13 just for that. And I'm not even going to tell you how much I spent on those 2. I'd be embarrassed. But I only splurged because they were the only ones that I found that matched the color just enough. I didn't want it to be too matchy with the sign, that there's just enough of a shade difference that they're set apart. Because all cheetah ribbon is not the same. Thank you. And this ribbon also has a really nice backing as well. That's one thing about D. Stevens ribbon. It's just really good quality, and a lot of times you're going to get the 2-sided ribbon, the front and the back. Okay. So bow goes here. Let me get my stand up here. It's caught on my mat. There. And I roll a big, good bit of it out, and I hold it up here, and that's how I judge how I'm going to do the length of my tails. Also, at this point, you have to decide if you're going to do bow here, swag it down in a bow here, or if you're just going to do a big bow here and carry florals all the way. Let me see, where's my sign? Depending on the shape of the sign you're using, that also affects the type of bow and whether you can swag. Because if you're going to swag your tail down to connect down here, you want it to either come straight down or you're going to have to do a bow and then do some like tails here so they'll all lay in the right direction. I really got some globby glue in there. So, sorry, I got sidetracked. So we're going to put our sign here. We can come over just a little bit. I don't like signs sticking too far outside of this side of the wreath, but a little bit is okay. So our bow will go here. We can swag down over this edge and connect it here. So I think that's good. But now having said that, since we're going to move it so far, I may have to do some creative work getting this hooked on. But we'll worry about that in a minute. Let's do our bow. So I think having said that, I'm not going to completely swag it down. Like I said, this is really expensive ribbon, so every inch you can save is going to matter. So I think what I'm going to do, because this is real stiff stuff, see how well it holds, you know, so you can get creative when you're doing this bow. The ribbon's going to hold really nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is make a nice big bow here with a longer tail that I can kind of, you know, wave pattern down over the edge of the sign, and then maybe do just some tails down here. That's going to get the biggest bang from your ribbon using the least amount possible. So I think about that much of a tail will get me what I want. So I'm going to squish it. Hi, Ashley. Thank you. And welcome. I'm usually on Fridays at, what is it, 2 Eastern, 1 Central. But this was a makeup from last week because, you know, the stuff going on in Nashville, even though I'm 120 miles away, it still affected lots of places here in my town. And I don't know if I was a casualty. I know it affected businesses, but I just couldn't get on the internet. So, all right. So that, and we're going to make our loops about 16, no, about 18. I'm sorry. Missed my mark. Yeah, about 18 inches. The stuff is really thick and hard for me to work with. So if you see me struggling, I apologize. It's just because it's really thick ribbon and I have rheumatoid, so my hands stay angry most of the time. All right. You don't even, no, this one needs a little more. Okay, and I'm going to cut another tail, not quite as long. It's going to kind of go up, so it doesn't have to be super long, but you need a little bit on the end to fold over. We don't dovetail this ribbon. All right. I've got some 26 gauge wire. I'm going to put down the middle of the Bodabra. and fold the excess underneath. This is pipe cleaner, zip tie, whatever you want to use. I'm just using wire for this one. All right, so once you get your bow formed in your hand, I want one tail coming down. That's the longer one. The shorter one's going to go to the top. We'll fix the end in a minute, but we're going to set it in our Bowdabra. If you're using a Bowdabra, great. If you're using an easy bow maker, this is the same way. Just lay it down in there. We're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to take our 4-inch red velvet. Oh, this isn't real wired, is it? These big, but we'll see. Oh, we may go to the 2.5 inch. This may not hold these big old loops. Some ribbon you're going to find just isn't as heavily wired as others. And it just doesn't hold its shape. But I'll show you what we can do. I have to move that out of my way for a second. All right, so 18 inches. See how that folds up? That's how you know you don't have a heavily wired ribbon. This is really good ribbon for outside, but it's not heavily wired. But I think it's going to be okay enough. And if not, we can add some acetate to it inside to help hold that shape. I think we're going to be good. Yep. All right, so same scenario here as that one. We're going to have the longer tail coming down. Have a longer tail coming down, and then we're going to have a shorter tail going to the top. Hi, Kathy. Yep, you did catch me. Today I'm going really slow. My hands are hurting, and well, it's just one of those days. So y'all got to pop in and out. I'm going to be here for a bit. Take hot baths. Yes, definitely take hot baths. I have one of those paraffin wax dip baths, the really big, nice ones. I have one of those and I use it. Probably not as often as I should because it takes so long. It takes like 6 to 8 hours to heat up and melt all that wax. And usually I just forget to plug it in. So then I get to the day where I'm really hurting and it's like, oh, it's not plugged in. And I just don't wait the time it takes for it to heat up. But that's on me. All right. Oh no, I'm putting the long one at the top, right? This one was, wow, I cut them like the same length. That's crazy. All right, so just make sure one tail is going up and one tail is going down. You want these to be the same size as the others. So if you're off just a little bit, just fix it while you can, because you're only using 4 loops of this big ribbon and then you're using the 1 inch. So you don't want it to be off too much because it'll be noticeable. That's fine with you? You got a snack? Are you ready? All right, so we've got the red in there. We'll set it to the side. Now we're going to come in with, oh, this one has the plastic on it. Hang on. We're going to come in with this 1 inch. I mean, I just love this. Oh my gosh, I just love this. Also a very expensive ribbon, so every inch you can save is going to matter. We're going to curl this one a little bit, so I want a little bit extra. And these are going to be 14. I don't make my own signs, Ashley. I support the sign community, basically. And I order from all different sign makers. I support them all. All right, so I think we're gonna do a third loop of this, 14 inches. And then we're gonna leave a longer tail. All right. The same. I mean, I guess I could and, you know, jump on the sign making bandwagon, but I mean, I would rather focus my time on actually making the wreaths, and, you know, that's just not my wheelhouse, I guess. All right, so I'm trying to make sure I got them all the same. Then whichever way you've got your down tails going, that's where you're going to put these two tails, okay? This is so thick, it just doesn't like to twist. Owie, owie. Okay, so it's going in. So now I'm going to take the wire from underneath. I'm still holding down in the center as I'm moving the wire, because this, you know, may pop out. Then just take and cross the wire between those little slats. Cinch down. As you're pulling up, I grab with my thumb and fingers underneath. That way I can cinch down on the wire a little tighter. Don't let that pinch go. Just get it as tight as you can. And then twist. This is really hard. This ribbon is gorgeous, but it's hard. Okay. So then you can go down to the center and twist your loops from there. I only form it a little bit before I put it on the wreath. All right. We'll do the rest of the forming once it gets on there. Okay, so now we come back over here. There is a binder wire here, binder branch here. And I'm going to catch that because it's right in the position that I want, and a couple other branches. I'm going to bring this down here to do that. It's just way easier. I'm going to pull it really tight so my bow is really tight. It won't flop around. And then you just trim the excess off and tuck it down. Woo! That was my belly. and tuck it down on the inside. So it's not poking out the back. We'll probably cover that with a little piece of moss in the end. All right, so we put it back up. What's wrong with me today? I'm sorry. All right, so once we have it on, then we're going to form our loops, place them where we want them. Let's see, we're going to take this and fold it over one time about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch. And then I give it about a good inch after that. Run my fingers along the seams to kind of crease it out. And there you go. Okay. So that tail, we'll have more stuff in behind it, but that tail's going to kind of rest up like that. Okay. The bow's going to look kind of freaky for a little while until we get some of our florals in. All right. Same for this ribbon. Bend it up a little bit, crease it, bend it up one more, crease it. I'm going to crease that one in. It just looks a little better. Okay. Go back and crease this one in. Even though it's got a pretty back, it's so stiff, it's not laying right, and I'd have to glue it, and I don't want to glue the edge of that gorgeous ribbon. So, all right, this red, we're going to dovetail. Go. Dovetail this red as well. I used way too much. That was me. There we go for now. For now. Okay. Moving on. We will finish that later. It is okay to do your bow halfway and let it hang and move on to something else. Come back to it. You don't have to finish that step all in one. I don't think I ever do. All right. So my bow is sitting in the right place. Everything's good. Now we're going to add the florals. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Now, back to our flowers. So we had 3 singles and 2 doubles. So we need to decide where we're going to put our doubles. Thank you, Ashley. I used to teach in my own group and had some health issues and just decided that I couldn't go on doing that. But when Lori asked me to come be a designer, I was feeling the teaching bug, and I'm just like, yep, this is perfect for me. So I'm so happy to be here. All right, so since we've got 2 doubles, we're going to use some doubles down here. Now, when I'm planning where I put things, I try to keep in mind, and I don't know if this is the right way, the wrong way. I don't know if there's a design set in stone rule, but I don't like my top to be weighted heavy. So I like it to be lighter in area, and I like to put most of my weight, the bulk, down the side and down in here. Okay, most of my bulk is going to go here. So keeping that in mind, you'll do a single probably over here, maybe a double back there, and then we've got two more singles and a double. So we'll do a double down here and a single, single. Okay. And I know I just went through that really fast. That's how I talk to myself in my head. I even talk to myself when I'm designing by myself. All right, when you're getting ready to place your flowers, go to each little piece on it. Make sure that it's turned and facing the proper way. A lot of times when you get these pieces, the individual like leaves parts, some of them are facing backwards, some of them, are facing forwards. So just take and, spend the extra time to make sure your pieces are facing the proper way. I get my grapevines, Kathy, from mostly Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and my local store, Trees and Trends. And that's because I can see them, touch them, and know what I'm getting. I have ordered from Michael's online before, and ordered like I don't know, I think I ordered like 10 or 12. And they were mostly okay, but they were really trashy inside, lots of broken sticks and leaves and stuff. So I had to really work hard to clean them up. But yeah, I mean, sometimes grapevines are hard to find, and it's sometimes the supply doesn't keep up with the demand. So you might find yourself having to order online from time to time. But just know that the quality may vary greatly. So I just always pick them up in person when I run into Hobby Lobby or Michael's. All right, I'm thinking right there. Now I am not gonna cut these down super short. I am trying to create a really large piece, okay? If you're trying to keep it for a smaller space, you'll cut your stems down and place them so they don't stick out from your wreath as far. But when you're trying to create a grand piece and, use just the 18-inch grapevines here without having to step up to the next size, keep your stems long. That way when you place them in, they stick out like that, okay? That makes your piece grand. It's going to give size. So if you've got that there and you just keep putting these in around, see how big that makes this piece now? I know that's not looking good, but okay. So that's how you can build your piece out and make it bigger. Doesn't mean that you have to use more product either. It all is relative to how long you cut the stem. And because you cut that stem longer and let them stick out further, it creates a bigger piece. Your price point can go up. You're a registered nurse. Oh, sweetie, thank you for everything that you're doing right now. I appreciate you. I'm sure I speak for the rest of us as well. All right, so let me just stop yapping and get this in there. I am going to cut it just a little bit though, and that means I got to pull that leaf off. If you have to pull leaves off, that's totally fine. If you want to add them at the end, you can pick them and add them separately. Okay, so I've kind of bent the stem the way I want it to shape, or want it shaped and want it to lay. Then I'm going to take the stem, the part that I'm going to insert, lay it flat and weave it in. Okay, get a little glue on the tip. We want the rose head to end somewhere right in here. Okay, So lift your bow, see where you've got to insert to push far enough to be able to make that head rest where you want it, okay? So just insert, kind of weave it in, and then push until your head's resting exactly where you wanted it. See? Now, if your pieces come off, just dab a little glue on the end and put them back on. It is okay. I think that was a thorn and not where the actual leaf went. Yep, I was right. That was a thorn. Ah, try that again. There we go. All right. Rose 1. Then you can always take and bend it a little bit so it looks a little more forward. Just like that. Perfect. Aw. Lots of support in this group. Lots, lots, lots. Okay. Don't lose sight of where your bow is supposed to lay, okay? That is one important point. It's going to twist and turn as you're moving your wreath and putting stuff in until we get enough glue and backer back here to hold it steady. This ribbon is super thick, super heavy, and it needs some extra help, okay? Not that it's not wired and it's not going to hold its shape. It's just a massively heavy bow. The weight of the ribbon makes the whole bow in itself super heavy, so it's got to have something to help it be more stable. All right, so we'll do the second placement here. Of a double. I'm just going to check these leaves. That one was loose before I put them on. Save myself a little headache. All right. Facing backwards. This face forwards. That one's a little better. Sometimes you have to try the different pieces and see how they lay. Sometimes they lay better in different ways, and no matter how you twist it, it just wants to do what it wants to do. And sometimes you're forced to work around that. And if that's the case, you just play with placement. You find the spot that it looks the best. Okay, so we'll come in behind. We're going to put that one there. This one's going to be hard to get in because these are really thick and it's a double. So you'll probably have to use, put a little bit of muscle. On these big ones like this, sometimes I'll put my fingers in between the branches and split them apart. Okay, so I want it to come directly out of the back of the bow. Let's see, that's way too tall. I think I'm going to have to cut these down. lose my balance every time I step off the edge of my mat here. All right, so in this case, they're too long. I'm going to have to cut them down, which now makes them singles, but we're going to place them together as if they were doubles, okay? So see how this one is laying? It's going to go kind of coming out this way. This one's going to go there. So we'll start with this one. I'm going to have to get my stool. That. I think that's good. Okay, where's the other one? This is it. So that one's going to go next to it, just sitting a little higher. And if you don't, after you've already put glue on it, as long as you move it within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, your glue is still pliable enough that you can replace it. If not, just take some pliers to work it out. There we go. So we've got two right there. I'm going to have to work with that gold ribbon in the center. It's giving me fits. Okie dokie. The U shape, keeping the shape. I am always saying mind your shape, but I hope that I'm teaching you in a way to show you how to layer each layer, but keep that shape. See, we're keeping kind of we're creating the arc of the U. Now we'll come down here and bring it down, and we create that with our flowers as well. We did it for our base. I don't think you were here for me putting down the ficus and explaining that. So maybe at the end, just rewind and watch that little part for, or two. Those we might be able to leave. All right, now these others, we're probably going to cut down shorter because we don't want them sticking out nearly as far. It's okay to create height and stuff in a piece because your door is tall, but you have to be mindful of your width when you're creating because, doors are only so wide. So extra pieces, just lay them to the side. You may or may not use them, and that's okay. All right. So now we need another one here, and then we'll do a double down there. Again, just check your leaves before you put them on. Twist them, make sure they're facing forward. All right, so nice and pretty. We'll put this one coming out that way. They all don't have to be face forward. Most of the time, unless I'm using hydrangeas, I try not to face them face forward for that reason. I equate it to like all the kids, you know, sitting on the bleachers, just all in a row. And that's not how things grow in nature. All right, so we're going to kind of come across from this one now. So you'll lift. And on top of this is your base. So we're not putting anything really behind it. Everything goes on top. This is our base layer, okay? So lift. See about where the head needs to, you know, come out to keep your shape. And that's only as far as you have to push it in there. Oh, come on. And sometimes that's not as easy as it sounds. Bring your rose, you know, leaves up so they're visible. And they're also a different color and a different sheen than the ficus, so they give a little bit of contrast. Miss Ann, no ma'am, these are not fresh. They look really realistic though, don't they? These are the ones that come in the big bouquets at Hobby Lobby. And all I did was break it down. Okay, so we have another single here we're going to take, and it's going to come down below this one, but keeping that same shape. So put your glue on your tip, see where you have to insert it, and push it to for that head to line up, okay? So how you insert the flower really plays a big part in how it's going to lay. And then the second factor is how much your stem is bendable, which these are plastic and they're a little bendable, but they can't bend far enough and retain their shape. They kind of slowly spring back. So they're only going to bend so much. So for a flower like this with a stem like this, it's really positional how you place it. Okay, so you want to see how your head is facing and your leaves on this piece, and that matters how you put it in there. So if you go to put it in like that, okay, your leaf is funky to the middle, your flower is pointing out. So let's get this glue back on. So you want your head to kind of face a little bit forward like that. We're going to turn the leaves up. That's how we're going to place it in. So it's not just as easy as coming up here and, you know, throwing something in. Well, I mean, I guess for some maybe it is. It's not for me. All right, so I'm going to actually pick up the ficus just so I can see, and I'll insert it. See where we're at with it. Okay, needs to come out just a little bit. Oh, we might just have to pick that one in later. It's not wanting to stay on. There's a bar there where I'm trying to insert this and it keeps pulling it off. All right, where will we put these? Those are going to come down, kind of hanging. Like that. Actually, that's pretty spot on. Now keep in mind where your tails are going to go. They're going to go about right here and come down. So you'll need to place this way up here to get it to hang right. I'm just doing a dry run. So right about there. Yep. You need this Wreath stand. I got it at Crafters Convention, and somebody said the name of the lady last week or the week before, and I can't remember who they said it was. But yeah, I love my Wreath stand. Okay, so this one just isn't laying. It's not making me happy. So I'm pulling it back out. Pull out some of that glue. I don't worry too much about, what you can see in here because you can always cover it with moss or a leaf. I try to keep it as clean as I can, but if there's just one part that's going to look messy, well, I hide it. And that's not hard to do with a floral. All right. I need it. How is it going to bend the best? See, it's still going to do its thing. No matter how many times I've bent it, it goes back. So that's about as bent as I'm going to be able to get that one. So taking that into consideration, I'm going to cut it down just a little more. And sometimes I will place them in, like straight in, instead of laying them on their side to weave them in, like this. I'm going to go down like that. And then we are going to use a zip tie to hold that sucker in place. If it won't hold itself, we give it a little help. Sometimes you just want it to lay a certain place, and if you can't get it to stay there, well then take out your trusty zip ties. Here we go. Beautiful. And you'll turn that zip tie to the inside so it's not got the pokey edge on the out. Beautiful. You need that stand too? I will go find the link for it, and I'll message it to you, Lori, and then you can disperse it how you see fit. But I know every week somebody's asking about this stand. So, all right, so we want these to kind of cascade down the bottom. So let's get our glue on. And lift this ficus leaf out of the way so you can see. So see where you want it to hang. That's where I want them to rest. That's how far I have to push it, okay? So I'm going to back up just a little bit, insert this. Probably going to insert it under this bind wire here just to give a little bit more stability to that big bunch of flowers. And then you push it up in there, just like that. All right, I think we're going to use another zip tie right there to hold that one in place. These bigger heads just require, some help. Come on. Here we go. See how that made that one stand up nice and pretty? Some of your green rose leaves up here intermingled with the ficus, so they're not all hidden. This down. And I think I just cut it in half. There we go. Technical difficulty here. I thought it was tightened all the way and it wasn't, and then I cut it. So now I'm having to take pliers to finish tightening the zip tie. Ah. There we go. Disaster averted. So the bow we need to straighten up a little bit because the tail's coming down this side. This side. We may shorten that up still a little too. I think our sign's about ready. So let's get it installed. I'm going to use pipe cleaners the same color as the greenery that I'm using. Anybody got any questions? All right. Just running the pipe cleaner through the cable mount. All right. For now. All right, one side tacked on. Now this side is not going to reach all the way. There we go. See. Oh, yeah. I like. Now that our sign's on, we've got our big flowers in. We're going to go and fix our ribbon or our bow like we want it. Now, when I'm trying to move tails and loops, I come down to the center and pull things around that way. It listens to you a little better. This is so long. We've got our bow. Let's see. What are we going to do with this? We might just swag it over. I think it's going to stay there. And we're just going to trim it down a little. Yep, yep. It's not as wired as the other, so it doesn't hold that wavy shape as nice and pretty. So we just have to trim it up a little bit and make it lighter so it'll hold better. All right, so I think we've about got our ribbon where we want it. Now we're going to start adding the greenery. Woo! We've got all the hard parts done. Now it'll go quick. Let me get a drink. Hi, Carolyn. Yeah, you caught me. Kathy, there are several different styles of designs out there right now. This particular one came from two older ladies that were vendors at Crafters Convention. But I will find that information. I will get it to Lori. And if they're in this group, then that's wonderful. But honestly, I don't remember their name. They were super sweet. But we'll get that for y'all. Because everybody needs a good wreath stand. We may take a little bit of glue and kind of tack that down to this other ribbon so they stay together and out of the way. But once we get more pieces in here, it'll lay a lot better. Okay, so don't forget, we have to add these pieces in somewhere because that's what pulls all of this together, okay? So let's see, we can definitely put one of these coming out from the bottom down here. Let's just slide that one in there. This, there we go. It's not wanting to twist. Let's start again. Let me cut it down some. I'm just going to leave a Hobby Lobby sticker on there. Whoops. I put the zip tie in over here, so it's got the branches really sucked in close, and it's hard for me to push anything through. So that's what the holdup is here. All right. I don't really like how that's playing. How can I fix this? How can I fix it? It's because these plastic stems on it, they don't bend very well. So it's just one of the drawbacks. You get the positive, which is really gorgeous, realistic looking, flower. And then you have, the nice sturdy plastic stems, which are great for arrangements, but not so great for what we're trying to do here. But that's okay. It's not going to stop us. There we go. Way better. Now we have one more of those. Let's do it coming out the top there. Glue strings everywhere. Just taking and intermingling that branch and through here. Looks natural. That needs to go behind this flower. Seriously bad. There we go. And we've got these little pieces. Cowling's Loving Designs. Is it Bev Cowling? I don't remember if that's their name or her name. Like I said, it was a couple of ladies, but I'll look it up. But any stand you get is going to be fine. They're all kind of similar. Pull that one in right there, I think. I have other greens, so I'm trying not to cover up places that I'm planning on putting the other stuff that I've got. So I'm trying to think ahead. We're going to put that right there. Out the side. We're going to place it right here, I think. Beautiful. Yeah, that sounds more like more familiar. Linda Hobby, I think. I'm really hating the way my bow is laying. There we go. I may just have to tack the ribbon down. I mean, sometimes you do what you got to do. All right, now moving on. We have some white filler flower. We have some more things that'll kind of fill in some light and airy. I've got a couple of baubles that I brought over. I really like these. Those, no. These, no. So I think it's these. We could use these. I don't know how I feel about them, but we'll keep those in mind. And then I have these that we could stick in, which really go well, I think. I think I like these. And then I brought just some grass that has a little bit of color in it to kind of pull it through. There's only 1, 2, 3. There's only 5 pieces on here, so I'm gonna. Oops, I just pulled one apart. I'm gonna make those 5 pieces, or I'm gonna use those 5 pieces throughout this piece to kind of bring it all together. Sorry, I pulled the top off that one and all the pieces came sliding off. Okay, let's add our white next. I brought a couple of different options. Okay, I like that. I don't necessarily like the baby's breath. And I really like these. I also have these. Those are okay too. I don't hate those. How many do I have on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. But do I like them better than these? I don't think so. I like these better. Okay. So as you all know, I bring several different options to my table. And once I get it to this point, because really all we've done is added the green base, the big flowers, the bow, and the sign. Now you just have to fill in all the gaps everywhere. And we're going to do that with white filler, some of the grass that I just showed you, and maybe some of this if we still needed just a little bit more. And then I brought these over in case, you know, we needed just a little bit of something else, but we had options. So I've chosen this as my white filler. These I got from Michael's. I use these every year. I love them so much. Every time I go to Michael's, I buy all they have. I'm not even sure what their name is. It's just the Ashland Classic Traditions. The SKU is 213471. Just going to take and go in and fill in with these. It's not going to use those. I'm just going to throw them away. Probably going to use both stems, but I'm going to hold off cutting that second one. Okay, see, Lori already knows. She's got y'all taken care of. Okay, so when you get to this point, you've still got all those pieces on there, cut them off and save them because you can use them as picks, as stirs. I use them to put the E6000 on if I need to pick something extra. But I save all these little pieces. It means I don't have to buy U-pins because I can fold these and make them U-pins as well. I just keep a little container to hold them all in here at my station. And then these I save and set to the side, big spines like this for when you have like a big sunflower heads and you need a little extra reinforcement. You can use these type things. So I have like a milk canister, you know, like a vase, you know, milk pouring jug thing over here that I put all my pieces in. All right. So I'm just going to randomly go through and place white throughout the design. So anywhere that there's a hole, I'm going to place some white right now. Right here. Try and make sure you don't get it all over your ribbon. Putting some in deep there, and then some that are going to stand out a little further. We're going to have tails coming out here as well. So some stems are shorter, some are longer, so you just have to see which ones will reach to where you're trying to go. I got to go deep with this one, so it needed a longer stem. A long one with a bunch on it. We'll probably put that back there. Will it fit? Do I need to refix it? Nope, it'll go. We're going to have to tack this over so it stays over where I want it. Okay. Let's see. White, white, white. Let's get our tails on there next. So for the tails, do that right there, I think. I'm going to do the 2.5 inch version of the red velvet. Black velvet is a song. Sorry.
Red velvet wasn't a song.
Red velvet. Might be. Do you ladies know if Red Velvet was a song? My husband is asking.
You should have an 80s song.
Was it an 80s song? Shoot, I don't know.
Or is it Black Velvet? No,
Black Velvet.
80s rock.
Yeah, I think Black Velvet was like 80s or 90s.
Sung by like a girl group.
Well, sung by Alana Miles, a girl.
I don't know much about 80s rock music.
Yeah, I know. You're young.
I was a toddler.
Yeah.
You were like preteen.
I know. You like the older women. Hi, Dawn. All right, so I've folded my ends. I'm going to have one just a little longer than the other. And the same for this one. And then I want a little bit of this. Just put them together, crunch them. She wore Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet. Stevie Nicks. I don't know. I know that there's a song Black Velvet, but Red Velvet, I don't know. There's Blue Suede Shoes, if you're an Elvis fan. Okay, so I kind of take and kind of push them together at the middle after I've got my pipe cleaner on. That way some are kind of sitting behind the other. I don't want tails fanned out all over the bottom. I want them kind of condensed into one place. So now I've got that. Go in here and attach the tails. Putting in the zip ties causes a little bit of issue trying to get pipe cleaners through. We're going to go this route. One right there. Right through. Same way with the bow, tie it really tight so it doesn't flop around. And then cut your excess off and fold it up into the center. All right. At this point, I'll take and kind of pull some of the greens up over it, or kind of intermingle it, we'll say. Don't forget to bend up your little ends so they don't, so the wire doesn't work out. There we go. Sorry, y'all. I can't work in a mess. I have to kind of clean and tidy as I go. All right, where's the other white one? Here it is. We're going to use a little more of the white. There's a black velvet and a blue velvet. Well, as soon as we're done, I'm going to go look that up because it'll drive me crazy if I don't. We're kind of a music family. We like, listening to our music streaming. And my husband, JC, he educates the kids on all kinds of music, even kinds that I don't like. Yeah, he likes oldies and stuff like that. That's what his parents raised him listening to, and he just still enjoys it. Me, I've recently been getting into country, which is kind of odd because I've never really liked country in my life. Right, we're going to turn that down. I don't always trim them because I think maybe I'll be able to weave them in, but if you can't weave them in far enough, just pull them out, cut them down a little bit, and then reinsert them. Another white one. It needs to go back there, but I think we're going to have to pick it. All right, so here is what I do. I pull one of the pieces that I've cut off. I don't need a big, long extension, just a little. I'm going to pull a piece of floral tape. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this. And I'm going to wrap. So now this was a short piece. Now it's a long piece. And it's not, this is heavier, so I'm going to have to actually run a little bit of wire around it to hold it in place. Just move that piece. Find it later. So if they're heavy, just take a little piece of floral wire. and wrap it around the two pieces together, and then just tape over it. If they're lighter pieces, you don't have to do the wire, but that's got multiple heads on it, so it just wasn't going to hold even with the glue. Okay, there we go. This is going to stick up in the back and back here. Glue and the stuff from the tape all over my hands. A little bit of hand sanitizer takes the sticky off. Okay. What do we have left to add? These pieces. I didn't add this fern like I thought I would. I still could because I like it. Hi, Susan. So again, on these, take the time to make sure all the little pieces are facing forward. I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of this. Yeah. Yes, I like it. Just them all to the front. Another one back there. My glue strings. All right. Face them forward. It's going to go in the very back. Take this last piece off right here so it'll sit smoothly and feed smoothly into the grapevine. Here. I'm going to use this whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and take the pieces off. Aren't these gorgeous ferns? I get them at my local Trees and Trends. I'm really picky when it comes to the greens I get. They have in the fall, they've got some that are purple tinted on the ends, and they're just divine. But I'm out of those at the moment. They're kind of like here, like this grass that's tinted purple on the ends. They've kind of got a little tint like that. All right. All I'm doing is going around the perimeter with this. I guess this right here has to be my biggest pet peeve when I see other ladies designing, is when they don't face everything forward. You've got, you know, greenery on there with leaves facing the back. So, this acts just like the first layer of ficus that we put down. Helps define that shape. They are cool. I wish I had one to show you. They are my favorite green to use of all. But I love ferns. I keep ferns in all different flavors, varieties, whatever you say. 'Cause I just love using ferns. And then of course ficus and everything, because it's a cheap, good way to get some green filler in there. So we'll come up here. One more big piece here. Have to watch with some of these though, because the green dye will rub off on your hands. Not this particular one, but I have had some ferns that are they run, the color runs. I actually think that looks good coming up out of there. Got so much green there. Kind of need something back there, but I also need it there. So, yep, talking to myself. Sorry, y'all. That looks good under there. That fills in a lot of that grapevine that you could see up under there, and then gives a good base to hold this ribbon up and away from the side. So that works out great. All right. We're going to need a little more white down and through here. So I'm going to pull. I don't really like those. Pull one more of these. that we were using and just continue on with those. Like I said, this one is my favorite. It's the one that I use for spring, summer, and fall. And when Michael's has them, I take all they have. Now you can order them online. I gave y'all the SKU, so y'all should be able to find those online. But I take them from the store because I need them now. And all of my craft stores are an hour away, so I have to make sure I got enough money to go and spend a good bit to make it worth my while. That one I kind of stuck throughout a little bit, but I wanted it to lay a certain way, so there. See, we're using some of this white to cover mechanics. We're going to need some more white up in the top and back there, through here. Thank you, Susan. Gosh. All right, we're going to add these 5 pieces next. These were the pieces of grass that's just got some variegation and color. Kind of brings in. I don't want to use too much of it because I don't want to consider or categorize this as a fall design. I want it to be a year-round. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of these. There we go. Here. Each piece has a mind of its own, so I just see how it's laying and try to work with that the best that I can. You gotta make sure you can see those pieces when you put them in, so pull them through if you have to. All right, got 2 more. We need one there for sure. One more of these pieces. Where do we want it? There. There. There we go. Thinking we're about done. gonna take my glue gun, go up under here, kind of glue this red one at the top up here. That'll help hold it over to the side. There we go. Need something up under there. So here's when these type things might come in handy. These are just the little pieces of the rose leaves that we didn't use earlier. And I took a little piece that I had cut off and saved and just glued it in there. Now you've got a nice pick of leaves. So let's see if we can pull those up in there a little bit. I think we need some more white. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. It's just about layers and knowing which layers to put first and build off of, and how to use those layers to help you keep your shape. We need a little more white. We definitely need white back there. So we're going to take, we need more white than that. Yeah. We're going to take these two pieces of white and pick them together. Just take a little bit of wire and wrap it around. I kind of go down, you know, a good bit of the shaft. Take your floral tape. And tape them together. Sometimes I'll go over it a second time with the tape. They need to be taller, don't they? Don't they? But they can go in there. I'll have to do a taller one for the back there. These are fine for right in here. I needed a little white right in here. Look at it from back here. That's really pretty, y'all. But we do need that one white. It's just not okay. But I think I am Gonna use something different. I'm gonna use some baby's breath. Just because I don't want to overuse these little white ones, and we still need some white for filler. So gonna pull in some baby's breath, and I think that'll do it for us. Bend these forward just a little bit. You want to ride backwards. It's not sitting right. So pull it out and start again. Remember, as long as it hasn't been, like 30 seconds to a minute, your glue isn't gonna have set yet. So it won't be that hard to pull pieces back out. Where'd that piece go? I know it had more pieces on it. Oh no. I'm losing my mind. I'm not really happy with that. So here's what we're going to do. Land B. Uh-oh. Already. Do that. Just a couple of pieces of this. Not many. What else did I need? Right there. This is just to help even out the shape because I don't like the way the shape is. So this is what you do, is you either take away or you add to. If you can't take away without changing the look, then you add the least amount as possible because you don't want to overcrowd your piece. And usually airy pieces will work the best over dense. There we go. And then one down here, and I think that's going to make me happy. A smaller one down here. Thank you, Susan. They are the ones that you get from Hobby Lobby and the bouquets, you know. Um, I'll show you. I've got an orange one up here as well. I'll show you. Y'all know I like all these little light and wispy airy pieces. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Let me check the sides. I check the sides to make sure it's not really yucky or, you know, has big holes. I might could put something back there, but let's see this side. Now I look up under here to see if I see any mechanics. If I do, I'll either place some green or some moss. And we're looking not too bad, but I think I'm gonna use these last couple of pieces here just because we've got them. Kind of put them up in there to do a little more camouflaging. Just like that. Maybe a little up under here, I think. Coming out of there. And then we will have used all these little pieces. All right. There we go. You can see it. And it measures, I'll do it the other way. I'm looking clean. It is tip to tip. We're looking at 29 by 40 by 10. 29 by 40 by 10. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm always glad when you guys like the project that we're making. All right. Now all these extras I will just set to the side. And you never know, we may use them again. I don't know where the lid went to my, oh, there it is, to my A6000. Does anybody have any questions? It's like I need to go get some snacks for my kids. Any questions? Any questions? I think it turned out really well. Very happy with it. Very pretty. Year round. Oh, I wanted to show you all those others. Hang on, let me turn my light out here so I can see. Oh, here's one. All right. Sorry about that. So here's how they come from Hobby Lobby in these big bunches. They've got little light and airy pieces. They've got the really nice greens. So they come in these big, and I get them from Hobby Lobby. Oh, you're welcome, Carolyn. Thank you for joining. Always happy to teach. All right, lovelies. This was our makeup class from last week, so we're all caught up, and I will see you guys on Friday at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend and your week, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.